Okay, we're back. Didn't you have a story about bugs you wanted to tell?
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to tell the story about bed bugs.
Oh, it was a nightmare. Were you living there?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think you were.
Where were you?
School or Florida.
You were definitely not in school. It was like we were a little bit older.
I was in school for the first semester.
I think it was when he was living in Florida with his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that was
the viewer situation. I was traumatized. And you know what?
It's traumatizing.
That was one of those situations where you think you're going crazy and then you realize that everything you're feeling is so valid.
Well, what happened? You got to start from the beginning.
She's got to start because I think it started in her room.
Wait, can I preface?
Oh, that's right. It started in my room.
Can I preface the story with the fact that I had bug problems in my little tiny bedroom at mom's house at least twice, maybe 3 times. One time it was ants. And it was because I was 13. I never cleaned my room. And I kept like chocolate at my bedside table.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I remember I lifted up clothes and there was ants underneath. It was so disgusting.
That is horrible.
It changed my brain chemistry. I started cleaning my room more after that.
Well, another thing. I think this is an East Coast thing. There's 2 types of bugs in these kinds of houses that are absolutely terrifying. And I lived in the basement.
Oh,
and we had to
the spider crickets.
One is a really skinny, long centipede thing. With a ton of legs.
Yeah.
Ton of legs. And another one looks like a little cricket, but they're really fragile because I remember we had a cat who would bat at Salem.
But they weren't crickets. They were crickets migrated with
something.
Jumping,
I was in the basement
crickets,
doing laundry.
Cricket spiders.
Spider cricket mix.
Yeah, I was in the basement. They're terrifying. I was in the basement doing laundry. I see Salem swatting something. Yeah, Salem's swatting something, and then I see her hit it, and the whole thing just falls apart.
Yeah, they would all be like smashed on the floor randomly, and I would never want to clean them up or touch them, so I would just leave them there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'd walk over, I would think that they're like dead, and I would go to get it, and it would jump in my face, and I'd scream and run away.
Well, that wasn't even...
But you know what's weird?
Well, I wasn't done. That wasn't
even
the only bug problem I had. Then the second time I was traumatized, there was... I don't know what kind of bug it was. Bugs under my bed. I reached my hand down to grab something from under my bed. I pick it up, and there's a little bug on my finger, and I freaked out. And instead of... I was also like 13, 12. And instead of dealing with it, I just put more blankets on top of my bed to try to trap them under.
Ew!
And for weeks, I had anxiety about it. I was like, I should deal with those bugs under my bed. I should deal with those bugs under my bed.
Why didn't you say anything?
Because that's just...
Oh my God.
That's just what I did.
We would have taken care of it.
I already know there's somebody from Australia listening right now. Because they have those giant spiders and bugs, and they're like, what are these people talking about?
Fucking pussies.
These babies.
Okay, well, back to the bed bugs.
Well, we don't have them anymore, by the way.
So,
those migrations
now let's get into the bed
hybrid
bugs. Claudia,
bugs. They've developed.
Take it away.
Yeah, because you have 13 cats. They eat all of them.
Yeah, they probably do. All right. Well, we had bed bugs, and
wait, in 2016. It was like 2016.
How do you remember years like that? I have no idea. It all blends together. But it was back when we lived at my mom's house. Anyway, I think I first found them because there might have been something that I saw on my wall, like a bug on my wall behind my bed. But like, if you know anything about bed bugs, they tend to live above your bed in the corner of like the wall and the ceiling. And at night, when you're sleeping, they like sense your warmth and they come down and feed on you.
God,
and
so
I noticed on my arm, like I had a few little red bumps, and I think there was like a bug on the wall, and like I was paranoid. I hate bugs. It's disgusting. It creeps me out. Can't sleep if I see one. I started Googling, I think, about it, and I was like, oh my God, I think these are bed bugs. But I think I'd already gotten rid of the bug. Like I didn't save it, so I couldn't like keep looking at it, whatever. And then I think that's when I was like paranoid. I bought this stuff called diatomaceous earth, I think it's called. It's like a powder.
So vividly. I remember the smell of it.
Because we didn't have the kind of money to be like, oh, can we get an exterminator?
No, we had,
had like,
no money.
Wait, before this, Salem had also had fleas. This was before the bed bugs, and we didn't have enough money to keep getting her the expensive flea medication, so we all had to like pitch in, get it once, and then hope that they wouldn't come back. She also was an indoor cat.
That was way before
in
that.
In the timeline, who found me and you found it? I think in my room.
Well, I'm waiting until Claudia gets to that point because I found them.
Yeah. Okay, right. I thought so.
No, just wait. We're not there yet. So I got the diatomaceous earth stuff, which is basically like this big bag of powder. It was the only thing that I could find that apparently could work and I could afford. I only had like maybe a few $100s. I don't know. And it was like,
This is the fucking shameless house.
I can't
Yeah, it
believe
really
you don't
was the
remember
shameless
this.
house.
I was
Because you
gone.
weren't
I was in
there, yeah.
Florida.
I'm surprised we
I
didn't
was
tell you.
partying
it
in
might have been like
Florida.
$50. I don't know, whatever. I got this stuff and I literally started spreading like piles of it all around my bed. Like it looked like in Vampire Diaries when the witches put salt around so that like they can't cross through, like the vampires can't cross. That's what was going on in my bedroom. All over the place, under the bed, behind the bed, whatever. I don't know if it was working. Apparently, if they crawl on it, it can kill them, but that's like as far as it could go.
That.
And then, so I'm sleeping with this powder everywhere. And then one night, I remember I wake up, it's 4 a.m., and I felt something on my hand, like a tickle, the slightest tickle. And I think because I was already paranoid, I woke up from it. And I look on my hand, ew, bed bugs are so disgusting. They start off clear until they feed on human blood, and then they turn like a dried blood color, like the reddish brown. I look on my palm and we're looking with like a flashlight, and I see a little clear one crawling on my hand.
Oh my God.
And that's
so
when I was like, oh my God, we literally have bed bugs.
Okay, but
And
did you tell me?
no.
Realize it happened after I left.
I think I was telling you.
I think you told me.
Realize it happened after I left.
Bro, let's not get started on where you slept.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you where it came from.
You
after.
couldn't walk on your floor.
Let's
You
not
slept
lose
on a
the
pile
sight
of
of the
clothes.
story,
Listen.
okay?
Right. Yeah.
Keep
Dude,
telling
we
the story.
Yeah.
I'm waiting till it gets to
Okay.
the part where I found them on mom's ceiling.
Right.
I didn't think you found them.
I did.
Yes, she did.
It was
She
like,
absolutely
I don't know
did.
what
No, I
happened.
feel like we were sitting on mom's bed.
No.
I feel like talking about it.
No. Because Kennedy.
I
Okay.
vividly
So hold up.
remember.
Okay, I'm gonna say something real quick. I think you might have told her that there's bed bugs. You didn't tell me because I sure don't remember that.
Really?
Yeah. So she came to me
Mom
and
was in
said,
her own
"I
world.
want to look in your. I need to look in your room." And I said, "For what?"
No. That's not what happened.
Yeah, you were looking around,
That's not
or
what
then you
happened.
were just
Okay,
looking.
it's
Can I
irrelevant
just
about how
can
it
I tell
happened.
How it actually happened? I got to
From
that
your
point
end,
where I remember up until Claudia had the powder on her floor, and then maybe we thought we had them under control, or it wasn't that many. We could take care of it. And then I'm putting new.
Oh wait, I remember something. I think she thought she had. I think you said it was fleas.
No, I didn't. I
Okay,
knew it was
Mom.
bed bugs.
You had fleas.
And I knew it was because a girl that I was at work with had told me that she was traveling and she got bed
I
bugs.
remember that.
And my stuff was in the same cabinet, like touching
I
her
remember
stuff.
that.
And I thought
Okay.
that's how I got them.
Okay, go ahead, Kennedy.
That was a useless
Go ahead.
interruption.
No, I
no, it
thought I
wasn't.
could have swore we thought it was fleas.
Anyways, I'm putting new string lights up on mom's above her bed. And as I'm hanging them
that's
up,
right.
I look up and we have popcorn ceilings, which is like this sticky, like, I will never in my entire
Disgusting
life
ceiling.
understand why they ever invented popcorn ceilings.
That's because the ceilings were so uneven. They needed to do that to make it look even.
Well, yeah, there you go. I always
Yeah, so things could live in it.
literally, and I look up and I see
It was a quick fix.
little black dots like in the crevices of the ceiling, and I was like, and I see them crawling, and I'm like, oh,
And Kennedy's
my
like,
God.
I think that's bed bug. And I'm like, no, it's not. And she's like, Mom, yes, it is. I'm like, I don't think so.
No, are you sure that Kenny even knew? And
Yes.
it wasn't like, what are these
Or
bugs? And then I
maybe.
came in and I
know
was
that
like,
we went
oh
and
my God.
I think I went and wiped one and
Yeah.
it smeared red
Yes.
on the
Yes,
wall.
but
That's
I
how we
don't know
knew.
if you guys knew what it was. And I think I came in and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this is
Yeah.
where they're living. This is
Yeah.
where they're coming from. There was probably 50 plus little f***ing bed bugs
And the
living on
more-
her
and
ceiling.
when it was revealed to us, that's what it was. I felt like we were just seeing them all
Yeah.
over the place.
Except I
It
didn't.
were
was
see
like
also
them.
living-
nonstop.
I didn't see.
They
them
were
in my
also
room
living
that
on
much.
mom's. No, they weren't in your room.
They were living
They were on your
my
bed skirt.
bed skirt because
They crawl up in it. Eggs.
brought a bed in, and it was on the box spring because the box spring was wood, and they were living in the wooden.
Yeah, so that's
box
probably where
spring.
they came from
And we
because
did
they
not
were
know
like the max amount was in your room, and then we bought this spray, and remember we taped a tarp to the wall,
Yeah.
spreading down over your bed,
trying to
and I
get
got
them to
this
go
spray
away.
and started spraying them, and they're like falling off one by
Oh
one.
my God. And then I started to realize that this was too much for us to handle.
Well, because everything you Google about bed bugs is saying like you need experts to come in, like you will not
Yeah,
get
you'll
rid of
never
them,
get
and
rid
they
of
keep
them.
coming
Point,
back,
none
and
of
like
us have money. Me and Claudia work in a restaurant. We have like
Right.
maybe like $100 to our name. Mom has no
I
money.
have no money. I'm like paying bills by day to day, but somehow I pulled it together, or we all did somehow, and it cost like what, $750 to bring in a special truck with these guys that literally we had to remove everything that would melt.
Yeah.
Because it would get, they needed to heat the whole entire upper floor
to like 250 degrees or something.
Thank God they weren't
That's
down
like a
in the
sauna.
middle floor. But yeah, but they had to heat it up
Hotter
to
than a sauna.
It's a little hotter.
ridiculous. Like you can't even like
we had to
go
take
up there while
all
it's
of our-
happening.
Didn't we have to take all of our stuff?
All of our clothes to the laundromat and run them through the dryer at
Yes, it was
the
such a
hot
process.
temperature.
And they were like, take off your blinds, take
The
off
blinds
this, take
melted,
off that. We
remember?
forgot to
Yeah.
take off like 2 blinds, and when we came upstairs, they were all drooped and melted off.
That's how hot it was.
And
Yeah.
the house took like at least a couple days to get back to a normal temperature.
Oh my God.
yeah.
It was so hot. It was like
I
try
don't
sleeping on a
remember-
sauna.
It like retained the heat.
And I remember everyone got mad at me because I had a window air conditioner and I was like, I'm shutting my door and letting my room cool off. And they were like, why would you do that? Leave your door open.
They're fighting over air.
It was hell.
It was
You're
really
I know
tough.
we joke,
It was a tough
we
one.
joke that we had the Shameless house, but I'm not kidding. When I watched Shameless as a teenager, I remember thinking that their
Yeah.
house was better than ours.
No, I know. I was literally about to say that we joke about it, but like legit,
You're
our
gonna offend mom.
living room,
agreed.
mom couldn't help it. She couldn't
Not
afford
now.
it.
It still has a like complete makeover, but
Our carpet in the living room was coated in dried layers of cat pee.
There was so
Our lamp,
so much.
our side table was an old stool that held the lamp. We didn't even sit in that living room.
I had no money.
We
didn't have
there was
a
no money
couch.
coming in, and
Our
you had
couch
3
was-
kids that didn't clean.
I vividly remember
Our
I'd come
couch
home-
was what's it called?
Beanbags.
Leather beanbag chairs that smelled like cat piss.
They did not smell like
Wait,
cat
did you get
piss.
rid of that one? Remember that white
Yes, they
table? Do you
did.
still have that in
The
the
what?
kitchen? That white table.
She doesn't
with
have
the-
it
With the
anymore.
chairs.
No.
Oh, I remember
It's
that
black. We
you
have a black
that you
one.
like sewed
She would
fabric onto those
reupholster
chairs
over and over
like
every
8
year.
times.
I would go to Joann
Instead of-
Fabric. I thought that was kind of brilliant,
It was,
actually.
it was.
I would go to Joann Fabrics or Michael's, whatever, get material, unstaple all the chairs, and then restaple really tight. I would invested in a good staple gun
remember.
and just completely redid every
I
single chair.
remember
So I would have a
looking at
different
that
theme
staple gun and
every
thinking-
year.
I remember looking at that staple gun and thinking, what would happen if I like held it up to someone and shot it?
Oh, I would always take that staple gun and shoot it at the wall.
Yeah, that's probably
You
why
hurt
I would
somebody.
think that. You probably would threaten me.
Anyway,
You probably
let's
did.
talk about what Brandon's room looked like
Oh my God.
because he wants to hate.
Can we give some? That room was tiny.
Okay,
Brandon
it was
was
tiny,
tiny.
but your clothes okay. When I tell you, his clothing covered every inch of the floor, and it was level with the bed. Like, can you imagine how many
water
clothes and
bottles.
old towels
And water
it
bottles.
takes?
Oh yeah, I had like 4,000 water bottles.
And they were all full. Maybe
I don't
like
even know
2
how you felt
sips of-
safe
of
sleeping
one
down there
bottle,
because,
and
like,
then-
I would be terrified that something was going to come and like crawl in my mouth in the middle of the night.
Well-
It doesn't bother. I could sleep outside. I could sleep in a
Tell
car.
them the dimensions of your room first so they have an idea.
I mean, that room was like.
That room was small,
6 by
but
6.
You had what, a
There was
full bed,
another
and it was
room
like
to
about. It was
Well,
like
okay, so no,
a foot bigger than your
originally
bed.
I had the whole basement when I was younger. When I was in, like, I don't know, was I in high school or
okay,
middle
let me
school or
just
something?
say, we had a roommate, became one of my best friends. She lived in that room with her bed. She had the other room, and she kept it perfectly clean. So
She had both rooms.
both rooms.
Yeah, he
I
was
had
only
one
living in the
mom. I
one.
had
all
a-
you're
it was
doing
a closet.
because you were upstairs doing everything, but all you do is keep your bedroom clean.
It was impossible. Literally.
He didn't wash clothes.
No, it was impossible. I lived in a closet. It was like 6 by 6. Literally 6 by
It
6.
wasn't impossible. I mean, you
wasn't
could have done
impossible.
better than what you did, but
Okay, what am I going to do? Hang it from the ceiling? Like there was nowhere to put it. That
think it
the
was
closet
6 by
in that
6.
room was full of other stuff.
not
Yo,
6
it
by
was
6.
close to 6. Yeah.
Six-
All right, I'll measure
foot?
it.
Maybe
when I go
7 by
home.
7. Yeah,
no,
measure
it fit a
No.
whole queen bed in it.
That wasn't a queen bed. That
What,
was a
a
double
full?
or a full. Yeah. It
Okay,
wasn't
well,
that
it was
big.
still big enough for you
It's
to
a
like
really
walk
nice
in
room
there.
right now. Like the floor is redone,
Yeah, for your cats.
no carpet,
It's literally
Dude,
a
how
cat
did it
room.
fit?
cat room,
Yeah,
but it's
actually,
nice.
thinking about being in there when the cats were born, it was really small.
Yeah, it's small. And imagine a bed's in there. There's no walking space. So with the bed in there, it was like this much walking space, and it was probably my wingspan. So it was like,
smaller than your current bathroom.
yeah, it's smaller, way smaller than your
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah.
I just didn't
Smaller
care.
than my office.
But there was nowhere else to put anything, so I was like, I guess to go floor, I guess. The water bottle thing was really bad. I don't know how that happened.
Bad.
Okay,
You
but
just
also
lived in your own pile of
that
trash.
continued into when we moved to Tampa. Your room was a disaster. Your bathroom was a disaster. So
Is it
what's your
still
what's
to
your
this day?
excuse there?
It's on and off.
No, it's clean, I think. I don't go in your closet, but the room's clean.
It's on and off.
Well, it's because he has nothing in it.
Well, I've really minimized everything down to
I
almost
mean,
nothing.
you have to clean.
And I'm going to get rid of most of my clothes.
Cleaning is like a nonstop thing if you want to be on top of it. You literally have to be
Yeah, but-
cleaning
Yeah, it
all
is.
day
Especially laundry.
in between everything.
Yeah. But you can also minimize things down and you don't have to do it as often.
well,
we
we're
also
girls.
have
We
cleaning
don't do
people that come once a month.
We're,
Like,
we're
I can't
girls.
imagine
We like
cleaning a
things.
house like this. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't want to spend 3 hours in a day cleaning like you and Dakota do because I rather spend my time doing
Well, we
something
have
else.
to do that because of the cats.
Yeah.
Like if we literally laugh every day. I'm like, imagine if we didn't do this one day.
No, it's actually
The house would
crazy.
look
I
like
feel
a
like
mess.
half of the day is always like, if you want your house to actually stay looking clean, half the day is spent dishes, loads of laundry, picking things up off the floor, especially if you have animals.
I was thinking about that when Mom was telling me she was helping you and Jesse organize the other day. Where I was like, when I'm there, I will clean like little things up or whatever. I'll do the dishes. 2 hours later, come back, the sink is full of dishes. I would be like, where are
Yeah.
these things coming from?
Which I
Yeah.
tell Jesse, I'm like, at least we put our kitchen to good use and like we are using our dishes
Yeah.
over and over. Like we're not, I mean, it's better than like, I guess, creating trash from paper
Yeah.
plates and whatever else. But I mean, we do the best we can. Jesse's really good about keeping up on the dishes, but
Yeah.
I was
he also
getting
creates
water
most of
before
them.
we sat down here. Listen, I was getting water to get right before we sat down, and Jesse, I look over the stove and there's meat cooking, and there's no person there, and I was like, okay, I'm looking around for him. No Jesse. I'm like, did he go outside? There's like no sound. You guys are in here, so I take the meat and I start doing it because it's gonna burn, and
I looked at it, turned it down, and walked away.
oh my God. So if you wouldn't have turned it down, it would have burnt. He said then he comes out of the bathroom 5 minutes later and he's like, oh, shit. And I said,
I was going to say, I knew he was in the bathroom and he was probably pooping.
he said he would have forgotten about it. So Claudia turned it down and left. And then I came over and started crushing the meat up because it was like a solid, when you put it in there, it's all squiggly and wormy
He's in
looking.
his own little
It wasn't
fucking
even
world.
like crushed yet.
He would eat it.
Well-
He would eat it like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. but
When you're working or you're excited about an idea, everything becomes chaos, and then like cleaning up becomes secondary.
well,
Not for
yeah.
me.
When we were making videos, we used so many props in our videos that, I mean, you remember, they would just build up, and they would build up so much
Yeah.
we would have to put them in like storage units and stuff. But if I didn't have a team to help clean all that stuff up, it would have literally been impossible.
I
So it
know.
all kind of just keeps compiling, and then you like get ahead of yourself in a sense, and you're like, all that stuff's piling up, and then you're like, I don't know what to do with that.
I literally can't believe what my den looked like, my living room looked like.
Well, because for the amount of stuff we were doing on a weekly basis, for the small amount of space that we had, it just kept building up.
I would just walk downstairs in the morning and then I'd look at it and I'd halfway down the steps. I would turn around and go back up to my room because I didn't want to look at it. So I wouldn't eat and I wouldn't do anything. I just went upstairs depressed. Thought, okay, another day of being in my room and not going downstairs and looking at this storage unit of props.
That's probably why I took the complete opposite direction, I feel like, because I got so fed up with having so many things that I was just like, I'm just going to get rid of all of it.
And then you get rid of things you shouldn't be getting rid of.
Yeah, but I'd rather not have to deal with things and not have to worry about it instead of it being there in the first place. Like, I have so many clothes right now that Jesse's given me and stuff, and a lot of them are just like older or like they shrunk, and I'm just gonna like donate a lot of it.
Yeah,
You have to. If you don't go through donating it, you're just gonna have like
It's just too much. Like, why do you need that many things?
You don't.
You don't.
Like, it would almost be nicer if I just had like 2 outfits and like wash them on rotation or something.
yeah, but then when you don't have them clean,
It's called self-expression.
You have to at least have 7. For one for each day of the week.
That's a
2
lot.
outfits.
I'm just saying it would be easier.
So
to not
every
have to
day
think
you
about
have
it.
to run the wash for one singular outfit.
Okay, maybe 5 then.
No, you have.
get a really tiny
you have
washer.
10 of the 2 same outfits.
Yeah.
Yelling.
I mean, there's a reason people like that. I remember David Dobrik would always wear the same. Steve Jobs did. I'm sure there's other people, but the reason they're doing it is because they don't want to have to think about it.
Oh my God, I would be
they
so
have other things to think about.
bored
I'd be
looking
so
at myself
bored.
in the mirror.
Yeah,
Oh my
literally. I'd be
God.
like, every day I'm like, okay, what
couldn't
can
do
I
it.
do differently to like excite myself for my
Yeah.
physical appearance? We look the same our whole lives, except we just get older and older. Like, you have to
Yeah,
keep it
trust me.
exciting.
Yeah, you do.
Well, no, I understand it if you're like artistically into fashion and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of people aren't. There's some people who are just more technical. They literally don't care about fashion.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that. You guys happen to be like the peak in terms of like your nails are all done up, so are yours.
Yeah,
You're
my
wearing,
nails
like,
are
all-
done. Look
you're
how
wearing
mine look
bright
like little
pink.
like Easter egg things.
You have like 800 tattoos
These are
on
actually
your arms.
I actually got them this color because I do Buff Bunny clothing. It matches all the colors, doesn't it? Her whole line that she has coming out, each one matches a different piece of clothing.
Did you do that yourself?
Yeah.
You did?
No.
Are you good at somebody?
Hell yeah. I would never be able to do what she does. I don't have the patience for it. My neck would fall off. My head would fall off
Your
from
neck would fall
my neck
off?
not being stable.
It does
And my
hurt my
back.
back by the end.
You're gonna be in a lot of pain if you keep doing that in the future
old
years.
Hunchy.
It literally,
you're one to
if I
talk.
sit like that
I-
with my head
I
down for
fixed my
20
posture
minutes,
mo-
backpack on.
I'm stiff.
Well, my posture on these chairs is terrible.
It's not your
because I don't even know how
posture,
to
it's your
sit
big
on it.
hunchback at the top.
These couches are
You
not
actually
meant
look
for actually
comfortable.
sitting. These are for decoration.
Yeah, they are. Sit the up.
There's no back support.
Why do you let them
Move
lean
the
back
pillow
like
up
that?
more.
Because it feels, it's like
You should
there's
be
a
able to
lump
hold
right
your
here.
own back
You want me to
up.
go like this the whole podcast?
I rarely sit with my legs normal like that. It's
Well, like
it's
this.
hard
I
for
can't.
me. It's hard for me to just keep my legs idle.
Kenny, I've seen you man spreading multiple times. Kenny will man spread and her zipper will be undone because she can't keep her pants closed after she eats. You're literally, it's so, Kenny was,
I
if
used to do
reincarnation,
that.
I've always said this, if reincarnation is a thing, Kenny was reincarnated from a guy.
I completely agree. I think about this all the time. I really do.
That's probably why she doesn't like guys. She probably didn't like herself.
Okay, no. No.
You never know.
I don't know. I have all kinds of theories about who I was in my past lives. Trust me.
If reincarnation is a thing, Mom, what were you in a past life?
cheetah.
If you had a guess.
Yeah, probably. I don't know because I don't
No.
like living in the
Cheetah.
wild. So, and I don't
just
like
a
hunting
human.
for
Just
my
say
food.
another human. What kind of human do you think you were? Like, describe the person.
A witch,
Guy or girl?
a girl,
Girl?
Yeah.
And a witch.
probably witchy.
Well, that's what you are
were
now.
multidimensional.
I'm not a witch.
You have to say what you were like.
I don't know what I was.
You're a witch now. You can't also be a witch
Maybe she-
before.
This
I
could
feel
be
like they
her
would have
first
changed it
life.
up.
No, I was a real witch before.
A
This
real
is
witch?
nothing. This is a human.
I'm just
So you were
dying
like in
at
a fantasy
Brandon.
world.
Brandon saying that I was a man in my past life, and the reason is because I don't like men, and I hated myself when I was a man.
Can you imagine if that's the case, though?
That's literally-
Would that change your whole perspective on
No,
life?
Well, maybe
First
that
of
just
all,
means you know how men are.
That is the way that I think, and that I've had that thought a million times. Like, any thought you've ever had, I've had before about myself. Any thought you've ever had about me, I have had about myself before. And so I have
Sure
thought
about that?
I have. Yes. you do not know what it's like to be inside of my brain. It never stops.
I'm scared.
It really truly
Oh,
never
I'm
stops.
sure I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe one day we'll be able to
Claudia,
experience
you
that.
do,
we'll be
but-
like, okay, guys, we're gonna go in Kendy's brain today. Is everyone ready?
Oh my god, that's like
Never
magic
miss
Everyone's
school
so
Frizzles.
bus.
terrified. Everyone's shaking.
I would
Miss
never
Frizzle
allow
on a
anyone
bus.
to do
Yeah,
that.
that's like magic school bus. So we could just take a ride in Kennedy's
Frizzle.
brain.
Kenny's like Miss Frizzle when she was young. You kind of look like her.
Yeah,
Nuh-uh.
I should be her for Halloween.
Did she? Oh, did she have red hair? She
Yeah,
did.
she
Didn't
did.
Yeah, she had a red bun, didn't
I'm
she?
gonna start dressing
Well, it
like
was
her.
curly, like very
It's frizzy,
curly. wasn't
curly.
it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's why they
All
call
right.
her Frizzle.
Jesse and I just started watching Temptation Island.
Oh,
Oh my
I just
God.
finished it.
You did?
Yeah.
What
Oh
is
my
that?
god, that
So,
show pisses me off.
I didn't-
I mean,
It
it's so
pisses me off,
entertaining,
too.
but
I didn't watch it, but
it's
I
basic.
I just want to say I watched two drag queens watching the whole thing, so I know kind of what happens, but I didn't actually watch the show.
It's an
Well,
old show, right? They just put on Netflix.
is it old?
I don't think so.
No, it just came out.
No, it just came out because
It's basically
I was trying to look the couples up though to see if they're all still together. There's like not much information on them.
well,
Probably not.
yeah, they still don't have like a big following yet. I feel like it's still catching
It
catching
is
on.
so
But basically, it's like these couples. It's 4 couples, and they're all like having
on the verge of
relationship issues, on the verge of not being together. They all have some sort of issue going on. So they go to this island. The 4 guys go live in a house with a bunch of girls. The 4 girls go live in a house with a bunch of guys. And the whole thing is like,
single hot guys
if
and
you're
girls.
tempted, if
feel
you're
like I've seen
tempted,
this.
can you listen to your boundaries that you and your partner set, or are you gonna fall into the temptation of
I've seen this.
people?
But while they're sitting, it might be a different version of it. But while they're sitting there, the
they probably had
couples,
previous seasons.
yeah, I think, but not. This was to me the better one. I think I've tried to watch them before, and they're just dumb. But they're all sitting there, and like, so all these hot girls will come out while the couples are still together, like sitting before they say their goodbyes. They have to watch these girls come out, these hot girls, and they like say, "Oh, I bet you're gonna pick that one." And one girl, the one girl goes, "She's got fake hair." I was like, I was thinking, so what? So who
No,
cares?
it's because you know what? It's so sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's so sad to watch because these girls all make these catty comments and things because their boyfriends have made them feel that insecure in their relationship that they feel intimidated by like how their boyfriend's gonna feel seeing these other women.
Yeah.
And the worst part to me was this guy really goes, he's at the bonfire basically where they have to watch the footage back that they see from like the other house, and he gets his feelings so hurt about basically his girlfriend saying he's not like a good guy, whatever, and he's like, I am a good guy, I'm a really good father, and this and that.
Okay, I know which one.
And
you're
it was
talking about.
literally right after he cheated on his girlfriend,
Right.
went in the shower and this other girl.
Right.
And I'm
Well,
like, are you okay?
It blew me away that the guys felt like they could cheat and do whatever they wanted, and they had like a rule with each girl.
Yeah.
One was like no touching. The ones that said no touching are these other girls, and as soon as they see their girlfriends doing something,
Yeah,
not
they
even
start
that, like
crying
that,
and acting
they
like it's
start,
so-
are like what? So
and
it's
all
like
the girlfriends are doing are making comments like just talking badly about them, not anyone,
Right.
not
Right.
touching
Talking
any
badly about them
guys.
because they just watched their boyfriend another girl.
right.
Well,
no.
the
Before
one girl-
before she was talking badly
she
about
said
him.
he gives bitch energy,
Right.
Well, he
and I was
probably
like,
did.
okay. I was
Yeah.
like, I would be kind of hurt by seeing that. He hadn't done anything yet, though. Like
He probably
the
had.
worst he did. The worst he did was slept in bed with the one girl, but like they didn't do
I
anything.
don't think. And then he ended up like
he ended up just
with
saying,
her.
I don't care. Which,
Yeah, like
I mean,
I don't know. I
if
just
you're
think
saying
it's-
that, like, if you're telling another guy that who you're with has bitch energy, I feel like you
But it
or
always
bitch tendencies, then you shouldn't be with him anyway. I wouldn't want to be with a guy that I thought
I
had
just
bitch
feel like
tendencies.
no
as soon
matter
as you-
what, anyone who's going on these shows, there's something at least a little bit wrong with you.
Oh yeah, there definitely is.
And the funniest part is like the girls will be like, I was just like really hoping this would work and whatever. And I'm like, but why do you think you're on this show?
Because they knew it wouldn't.
And the one girl, it's so sad because first of all, she seems like the sweetest girl ever. I can't remember. Why don't they don't show their
I can't
names
remember
enough.
their names either because it was
She's
more
the
on the
sweetest girl
background
ever, and
for
she's
me.
every night she like goes in her room alone and like she'll be like reading her Bible or something. Meanwhile, her man is on TV talking about how he wants to have
Right.
threesomes and
Oh,
in the
right.
bathroom
Yeah.
with the friggin' ass clapping scene.
Yep. But she walked away from
It's
him, so good for her.
insane. I didn't see that part yet.
Oh,
Mom.
sorry.
I feel like once you lose respect for the person you're with, it's pretty much over. They probably already knew that they were going to break up.
The things that these guys
Well-
say about their women on national TV
Yeah,
is like,
it's crazy.
It's
They're-
like-
they're-
it's
in the very, very beginning, the one girl, the really pretty blonde, I forget her name too, but
is it Ashley? I think.
is it?
Is it the one that
blonde
has like muscles, or the one that's more like
No, the one that's
that was sunburnt in the beginning?
yeah. I think the
Okay,
one
well,
that was crying.
It's
think
really
her
hard
name's
to follow
Ashley.
this conversation. So.
It's hard because we literally can't remember their names. That's how
Yeah,
like
they don't share their names enough.
no, they don't. And if you don't like really like to me, are you guys like watching it?
Yeah.
Oh wow, for you not to know the names, then that's
Well, the
saying
point is,
something.
the show is just and the men on it
because
make me literally even more lose my faith in humanity.
It's
but
so
at the same time,
entertaining,
that's
though.
what they want for these shows. They want they want men to come on and say these things. They want women to react the way
it wouldn't
they do.
be entertaining otherwise.
otherwise it'd be boring.
Yeah, it
to
would be
watch.
boring. But it's just sad because even though that this is a show, I just know that there are so many men that are like this in their relationships with the girls they're with and make them feel so insecure that they're constantly worrying about like who he's into. Why isn't he giving me attention? And then they start to like devalue themselves and not see the good in themselves and that they have so much going for them and they just only see themselves through this man's eyes and what he thinks of them. And it's just
Sick.
so sad.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like for the show or not, but
No,
they
I've
should
seen people in real life go through that.
No, what I'm saying is if they literally all should just be like walking away from each other
Yeah.
and
Claudia,
not be with
Murphy's
anybody else
licking
or anything.
Well, my question is, why do you
If
think
he's just
those,
licking it, it's fine.
why do you think those shows are so popular in the first place?
Because they're entertaining.
Yeah, because
fun to
we are
watch.
all
And they
little rats that like sitting in front of the
because
TV and
they
watching this
elicit
shit go
an
down.
emotional response from anyone watching. It is so easy to get absorbed into it and be like, that guy's a piece of shit. That girl deserves better. You get so invested into it so easily. The same way you would a friend telling you a story about someone they know.
I think it also makes people feel better that it's not them.
Yeah.
It's also eye candy because they show a lot of ass and
Yeah.
and, like,
Actual
it's like
scenes.
constant.
There's literally a
Constant
scene.
close ups
You
Where
can
you
just
can
look
hear
that up online.
ass.
Brandon, there's a scene where you can hear the smacking in the bathroom
Yes.
and they just leave it in there and they show it to the girl. It's horrible.
And you can hear them moaning.
Stop it.
They show it to the girl.
How about this scene?
That's evil.
No, there's a scene where this guy, they're in the bathroom. He turns the light off, and the girl literally goes, "You know, there's night vision on the cameras, right?" He pulls his underwear off. You see his bare butt cheeks. He walks in the shower, and then you just see on the foggy shower wall a hand smack up against it.
literally like,
And then you hear him like groaning and moaning, and me and Jesse are like, "What?"
how are they not thinking these? I guess they're just like extremely drunk and horny that their brain is like, I don't
I think
care. I don't
kind
get
of
it.
like forget or think like, oh, this won't get shown or something. Like you kind of forget that like there's just cameras all around you because
What
there's
I
no
think
people
is more
there.
sick
It's
are
just
the
cameras.
producers, the people who make this because they're saying we're going to get these people and put them basically on an island, a cage.
I mean, they sign
and
up for it.
We're going to give them alcohol and we're going to keep showing them what we want to show them at the bonfire, not what
Yeah, but
everything
at
is.
this
They're only
point,
showing them the worst.
If you're voluntarily,
They're controlling
If you're
them.
voluntarily going on reality TV, you're agreeing to be manipulated. You know
That's
what it
showbiz.
entails. Yeah, like we know at this point.
Like
You're gonna-
20s.
Yeah, the
20s and
20s
30s.
to early 30s. But I forgot my thought process there.
But it is so entertaining.
The host, I will say, for a reality
is he a
show,
therapist?
yeah, he's so good.
I think he's a
The things
therapist.
he has to be because the things he says,
He
I'm
has
like,
to have therapy
he hit
background,
the nail on
a
the head. He
counselor.
always says
Yeah.
the right thing, and
Like
he
a
doesn't.
counselor would.
He doesn't annoyingly overtalk like a lot of other
Mm-hmm.
TV show hosts do. Like he's very just like straight to the
I
point.
know his name. Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Because it's Mark Wahlberg. It's not that Mark Wahlberg. It's a Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, his name is Mark Wahlberg, but not the Mark.
He's the
Wahlberg.
only one I remembers the name.
No one knows. That's so
Because
terrible.
they're all
We
like,
don't know.
thank you, Mark. Oh, look, it's Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
You have to, yeah, they're like, thank you, Mark.
Have you guys been watching White Lotus?
Yeah,
So slow.
Oh, yeah.
so slow, but I
That
still
show
like
causes
it.
me anxiety.
White Lotus is
man.
always slow.
Huh?
That show is anxiety inducing.
Okay, did anyone?
Yeah, it
wait,
is.
did
It's
anyone
like
watch the
constant
most
tension.
recent episode?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Claudia didn't see it. Can I just say?
Yeah, don't spoil
There's
it.
this one
No, because
scene-
we were watching it.
I don't care.
I want to know which scene you're saying.
All right, whatever. I
Say
don't give
the scene
a
where
part of
the
it without her.
where the brothers kiss.
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
see that then.
No.
I was
Oh, no, I
literally
didn't see that.
watching it. I'm not going to give any more context. Don't say anything else about it. But
Okay.
I was literally watching it and I was like,
Yeah, I was cringing pretty hard.
Okay, that.
You know who that guy is?
Yes.
The older
Yes,
brother?
yes.
He's Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Yeah.
I am terrified
Yeah.
of him.
Oh,
I'm
you
sure
know
he's
what?
very sweet in real life and he's a great actor. But
Oh,
everything
every
he's
time I
ever
watch that-
played in, I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah, Kate cringes at his character, and I was like, oh my god, I can't even
his
imagine
character
what
is-
Kennedy would
must have
be
fell
saying if she was
asleep
here in
last
person.
I literally out
He's like
loud-
the worst kind of guy.
I'm constantly saying like he is.
When we're
fucking
watching it, I
disgusting.
think of Kennedy. I'm like, oh my God, she hates him.
Oh, he
love
makes me
that. I
so
love that you both
angry,
think
and
that.
the way
then the
he's
little
talking
brother,
about his
you probably
sister.
love him.
No, I
He
don't.
thinks his sister is hot and like talking about
No,
her
Oh,
sex
right, yeah, he's
life.
gross.
I think the beauty of White Lotus is that every single character is unlikable in some way, except for Chelsea. I love her, the girl who's dating the old guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Amy.
Amy Lou Wood. Amy Lou
Yeah.
Wood?
Oh yeah.
I love her. She's so
I
funny.
Sex
her. I think
Education.
she is an incredible
Yes.
actress. I think she's
Yeah.
stunning. She steals the scene in every single scene she's in. I think she's the best, most entertaining character. I wish
She
the entire
is.
show was about her.
I know. I'm literally always waiting for her scenes to come up because she's so funny.
She's
and I think,
so cute.
And
She's
I
like
honestly think that her boyfriend is hot too. I know he's like a famous actor.
He
but-
looks like okay.
No, I was saying I always think this. He's an attractive
Like him.
guy for being like an older dude.
and his
Something-
hairline's just
Something about his
receding.
face. Well, his like he's losing his hair, but like he has an attractive
But I was
face.
talking
for
to
it.
He
Scarlett
looks
about this.
like
He's losing
the
his
guy
hair.
from Temptation Island.
He's losing his
Where?
hair, but he's it like works for him. Like
Yeah, it does.
he just
Yeah.
owns it somehow.
Last night, me and Jesse
Yeah.
were saying he looks like the guy, one of the boyfriends from Temptation Island, the one that wears his hair slicked back like that. Do you know what I'm
Don't do
talking
that to
about?
Oh
him.
yeah.
He does look like
I
it.
don't
Don't
feel
do that
like
to
he
him.
really does.
Don't do that to
Looks
my
like
king.
it could be his son.
Your
Who is your king? That old man?
It's a joke. I forget that you guys don't talk like me and Scarlett. Freaking
No, I think
millennial
those
and
two are
boomer over here.
Those two are probably my
actually
favorite in the show.
non-millennial.
That guy and the
act like
girl you're
one.
talking about.
Apparently, I dress like one too.
What? She's a boomer.
I don't agree with that.
Is that what you said?
I don't know where you were getting that from.
No,
When I was
I'm
watching
the
that, I was
boomer.
like,
Someone
apparently.
commented.
you dress
People-
pretty similarly
people
to how I
freaking-
do.
Bully me on TikTok.
Well,
They tell
you
me that I
answer
dress.
them. Why are you talking to the hecklers?
Wait, how do you dress?
No, someone told me I dressed like a millennial, and then every time I like, okay, listen, I made like a outfit video, basically saying like, oh, I'm picking new outfits, like I want to be more stylish, whatever. Half the comments were like, wear whatever you want, you look great. Some of the comments were like, saying I did a good job, nice, whatever. And then the other part of them was telling me I look like I'm dressing from Forever 21. I need to wear baggier clothes. My shirts are too small.
Claudia, why are you listening to people on TikTok still? Like
I'm not.
We talk
I'm not
about this-
listening to
we talk
them.
about it every week. Don't respond to mean people. Don't say bad things. And I still see
I
you
can't
respond.
help it.
You respond to comments. And I'm like, why is she responding to this?
Wait, it was athlete's clothes?
No.
Well, the style right now is baggier.
Yeah,
Not
but
for
I
me.
was like,
Like big-ass pants
because
and
the way
stuff.
I started the video was like, oh, somebody told me I dressed like, or like, apparently I dressed like a millennial. Like, I don't know what that means. But by saying that, people took it as me saying like, oh, I want to dress like I'm Gen Z, which I don't at all.
Well, you are
Okay.
Gen Z.
Someone was like, what do they want us to dress like? They're like, I'm sick of people wanting us to dress like Billie Eilish.
Yeah, that's the
I don't
style.
think that personally. I think trends are stupid because
too,
I think
yeah.
that you should dress for your body type
Yeah.
always,
Yeah.
not because baggy pants are in. So I'm gonna go get a pair of baggy pants. That's
There's
just
some
like
things I
so,
just can't get
I don't
with.
like
I just
that.
don't understand trends in general because I remember
understand
those
it
like
either.
white dad shoes everyone
Yeah.
used to make fun of and like the like baggy dad khaki
Yeah.
pants and now I see like girls like hip girls wearing that.
Well,
Everyone made fun of
what
it 10 years ago.
confuses me is they're trying to, like, people are trying to say, oh, like, this is how Gen Z dresses, but I'm like, but Gen Z dresses like how people dressed in like the 90s and stuff. Like,
Well, you
that's
also
what's in
can't
style now.
justify. You can't go by how in today's age. Like, you cannot go. There's no way that Gen Z dresses. Like, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
you could make a generalization, but everybody dresses so differently. Especially living somewhere like New York, you see how different people of the same age group dress. And it's a very, very wide spectrum because today's fashion, people take a lot of inspiration from the past. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but I
just think it's. I think it's
Can
ridiculous.
you also you live in a hot spot where there's a lot of creativity and stuff, but I'm sure if you go to like a high
yeah, I
school or something,
complimented a
like
woman
random
on
high
her,
school.
on her coat the other day, a grown woman.
Wow.
I just feel like if it looks good on you, wear it.
Well, yeah.
I know.
In school,
You
everyone
know?
kind of conforms to the same look. Here's an example. I live near a college. You guys know what college it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the weekends, all the kids walk to the bars. All the guys wear the same thing. They wear like a basketball jersey and shorts. And then all the
Vans.
girls wear the same thing. They wear really high jeans where their ass cheeks are hanging out and like a tank.
Really high
Even if it's like
jeans,
20
jean
degrees, they still
shorts.
wear the same thing.
Light jeans, white shirt.
Yeah. But they all wear the same exact thing.
It's a
it looks
culture.
like little clones. Yeah, it's like little
This is
clones
white people
walking, and it's like,
culture.
Yeah, that school just happens. That's the attire of the school. Like they're going out uniform.
I think that's just a lot of colleges.
Back in the day when I went out there, the only thing that matters when you're getting ready to go out is like tight pair of jeans and a tiny little shirt.
Right.
Besides that, you don't need anything else.
Lips are glossy.
When I was in the Russian gang, when I was in the Russian gang, when Cory and I were like 18, 20, we would all wear the same thing. We would wear tight ass jeans, a V-neck, and like boots or something.
Yeah, and I remember
we always wear the same thing.
I was like 18 or 19, and Brandon got me into the bar by taking me there when it was still considered restaurant hours, and then we would just stay until it was turned into a bar, and then they would just like serve drinks and stuff. Like I think they maybe questioned me like once, and I just was like, I don't know, like they didn't care.
Well, I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to remember, but like we would always go to this one bar. Red Maple. Well, no, you can bleep it. We would go to and I remember Claudia and came once. They were really young. They were like way underage. And I think the bouncer, like talked back to the bouncer or something.
Yeah.
Who like we were friends with, and the bouncer like kicked you guys out, I think.
Really? I don't remember
maybe it was
that.
just I don't remember if you were there.
The time I went with you, I remember I went with you on Halloween and I didn't have any issues, remember? They would like even serve me drinks.
How did they not say anything? I was looking back at pictures. We look like babies.
Literally. You were old enough.
I would have kicked myself out immediately.
No, you were 21. I was like 19. Yeah, I was 19. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we looked like little kids.
I looked so young. I don't know how they knew I was not of age. I think they just didn't care because like I was hanging out.
And you guys didn't have fake IDs back then, did you?
No.
Oh yeah, I had to have it.
You would either have to know people or you would go. You would literally go like Claudia said when it was still restaurant hours, and then you kind of just like sit in the corner where they don't really pay attention to you, and then it gets busy and they just forget about you.
One of my ex-boyfriends.
We also had this other bar that was 18 and up, which is like the most bizarre thing. I don't even know if that's allowed anymore.
We had an 18 and up.
But it was 18 and up, so that you would go in, and if you weren't 18, I would either bribe them and say, I'll give you $20 if you don't put the check on my hand, because you would get the check if you were under 21. Or they would do the check, and I would go in the bathroom and scrub the out of it and get it off. It was like permanent marker. I'd be like digging my nail into my skin to get it off, and then they would like serve you at the bar.
Would you get it off?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'd get it off.
So when I was 16, my boyfriend at the time, would in his basement, he had a certain table and a light set up. He would make fake IDs for everybody and charge. God. And so he took mine. He literally would take your driver's license with an X-Acto knife, really carefully cut out the picture. You can't do that now. The way they were made back then was different. But he would cut it out. He'd replace it with another picture, laminate it, and it would be somebody else's ID with everything on there. You'd have to memorize the new address, your birthday, your height, and all that stuff, and it worked every time. I was 16 years old getting in.
We probably shouldn't even talk about this, but in high school, our whole high school basically did this because people would order them in bulk, like order IDs in bulk from China. So there was like a website where you could order them from China.
Really?
And people would place bulk orders, and like a bunch of groups ended up doing it. It was like $50 an ID, but you like had to order 10 or something.
Mm.
What was it? Fake IDs?
It was a fake ID and it's scanned and everything. I have no idea how it's scanned because don't they have like a database of people's identities?
I have no idea.
I wonder if they still have that.
It's just a scan that says like it's real or something.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
well,
now
it didn't scan. No, now I think the scanning is a lot more like serious than
it's
that.
really different.
Also, I think you can just like snap it in half.
Did you guys know that I was listening to a podcast about what's his name, Luigi Mangione, the guy who shot the healthcare CEO. He made the gun out of a 3D printer, which people can do.
What?
Yes, apparently now people can make guns out of 3D printers, and they don't have to like register. They're not like registered in the system or whatever. I don't know. I don't really remember exactly what she was saying, but I was just like, that's crazy.
Okay, that seems really weird.
What in the world?
You would think that would be shut down
instantly. You print the parts and then you put it together.
Oh, so you have to be at least intelligent enough to like know each.
I'm pretty sure he
I don't want to give people directions on how to do this, but there's templates online that you can run into the 3D. You didn't like design it. He got a template online.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So wait, that was the situation where he went to the hospital and did that?
No, this is one where he shot the guy, the United Healthcare CEO in broad daylight.
Oh,
because well, there's all these other reasons. I don't want to get into it, but didn't we have?
And then there was a
United?
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was horrible.
We changed it.
Because the thing
I can understand.
It was the worst.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but I can understand why.
A lot of people have that opinion where
we
it's
did
like
it.
no one agrees that it's a good thing to assassinate someone in broad daylight. But if you really look into
But
the
they
story,
can understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
insurance sucks.
insurance is horrible.
There was
Horrible.
also that situation where somebody went to a hospital and like because their relative died there, they like went and were holding like nurses and doctors at gunpoint or something.
What? I didn't hear
Which
about that.
is insane because it's literally a Grey's
Either.
Anatomy episode.
Yeah. Well, how would they get?
I didn't hear that one.
How did they get?
And I watched the
An
news a lot.
extremely traumatizing Grey's Anatomy episode.
Oh. Yeah, that episode was so hard to watch.
I don't know how they got the gun in, but it was literally like what happened in that episode. Like their family member, loved one died at that hospital from something, and then they went in with a gun. And I don't know if anyone got, I don't know. I can't speak on it because I didn't read the article, but I forget where. I think it might have been in like Pennsylvania or something.
Jesus.
But yeah, that was like a horrible thing. I can't imagine being a nurse and going through that. Like that's
It's just I've been watching
so
so many
terrifying.
documentaries on top of like I listen to true crime podcasts, and just there's just so much crazy in this world. It's truly the things that have happened.
Did you watch the Foxhall Farm murders? Is that what it's called? Foxhall
I
Farm?
didn't see that one.
Sounds familiar.
It's basically, it was like, I think it started in the 90s or something, around like when I was born. But I think they still don't know what happened. But basically this guy lived in a house with his wife and kids, and they would go away over the summer, and he would stay home, and he ran like a Savers store. And basically, to sum it all up, they ended up finding like 2,000 human bone fragments or
God.
something, like remains up there. I think there was up to like 12 victims that they like know of, or maybe like haven't confirmed.
Oh my god.
But basically at the end, it's so interesting because you end up finding out like there's this other guy that like he was hanging around with, and this guy is still alive, and he ends up being in the end of the documentary. And I feel like there's so many different storylines you can kind of come up with of like what you think might have happened. And this guy, you have to just watch it to like get his vibe, but like he's definitely not, like something definitely happened that he knows about, and he will never.
Yeah, that's the thing with these stories is it's so crazy because they'll show like police footage of these whoever's being accused saying things like so believably that they didn't do it, that they have no idea, and then later on it comes out that they're absolutely guilty. And I'm just like, there was a part of me that believed them, because I tend to believe people, especially when they're being emotional or saying something a certain way. I'm like, yeah, I want to believe people, but then they literally, the next scene is them
they're good-ass
admitting guilt.
liars.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like,
he basically, the main guy, the main suspect, ended up committing suicide. He like fled to Canada and committed suicide. But and his note didn't have anything to do with what was going on. It was all about like the fact that his wife was divorcing him, and that's why, whatever. And he did say there was something left behind that he left, like I forget if it was like a videotape or something, but it was no longer there when they went to look for it. And this second guy that was like kind of became like a second suspect, but nothing ever came of it. Like he's still free to this day. He was the one that was interviewed at the end, and he originally back in the 90s had gone to the police and basically said, this guy tried doing this to me and I got away from him and I got out of his house. He basically would go to gay bars and like scout the bars, meet someone, take them back to his house, try to drug them, and then like this is what they said happened, is like he would murder them and then he would burn them in the backyard. And
Sounds
that's
like
why there's all
another
these
Jeffrey
human
Dahmer
remains.
thing, except not burning, keeping their body parts.
And so this other guy apparently was like hanging around with him, and he had told the story to the police, I guess, to try and get this other guy caught, that this situation happened to him and he got free and he got out of it, and they never even ended up arresting the guy because he ended up committing suicide. But the one that went to the police, that wasn't even the real story. He told them that story, but later on he tells the story about how he was actually in this house multiple times, and he remembers the whole place, and he remembers the whole layout, and he like does a walkthrough of this house because there's like a new owner that lives there now, and like it's so wild. It's one of the most interesting documentaries I've ever seen because you really have to come up with like your own thought process of like what you think really did happen because no one knows.
I just remembered a dream. I woke up, my lips were really wrinkly.
Is that the dream?
Yeah, and I needed to get them done.
Random thought, Mom.
Isn't that random?
That's not a dream. That's a fear.
Yeah, I think it's because I was looking at like my eyebrow girl's Instagram
Don't smoke cigarettes.
yesterday, and she was talking about lips and stuff, or something like that, and I just dreamt that. And I woke up, but it was like it felt so real.
Listen to this. Kate got into these the cave videos where people try to fit through really tiny cracks.
Yes.
Oh
And
No,
they're crawling through caves.
I never heard of that.
So basically there's these guys and they're obsessed with going into caves. And this is not just like any cave. Imagine a cave, but the passageways are like really small where a human can barely fit through. So you gotta go like this. You're like laying down like this and you gotta wiggle your way through.
I wouldn't be able to breathe.
Oh my!
And
I would
some
have
of
a
the
panic
paths get
attack and I think
skinnier.
explode.
Yeah,
Some of
same.
the paths get skinnier and skinnier. The only way you can turn around is if you find a big enough opening where you can stand up or at least like kneel to turn around so you can go back.
Oh, that sounds
What?
literally horrifying.
So
And what
this
happens if you
guy,
get stuck?
listen, this guy went into the cave and the cave was mapped to a certain point. So he knew that if he went by himself, and he knew that if he went far enough, like he would know how to get back because there were certain openings and stuff. But he kept going, and he got to an opening, they call them like squeezes, I think, because you got to like squeeze through these cracks. He found a squeeze that wasn't documented. So he's like, oh, I'm going to keep going because there's a high probability that I'll find an opening where I can eventually turn around.
Oh God.
So he went through the squeeze and he kept going and going and going and going. And he basically hit a point where he couldn't turn around because it was so tight. Mm-hmm. But he could keep going, but it dipped like that. So he didn't know like where it went. He just saw that it like went over the edge. So he basically kept going and going through. He went over the edge and it completely stopped. So he's stuck upside down in this cave in a squeeze head first like this with all the blood rushing to his head.
I would literally
My
freak
God.
the
Yeah.
And I can't
literal
remember like a button. They have buttons where they can
How
like
would they
call
go
for
in and
people,
help him?
or sometimes they go with another person. Who
Yeah,
can
how
like
do you
go
even
back.
help
How do you
that?
help somebody like
Get a
that?
bulldozer?
So they have rescuers who go into the cave, and basically in that situation they have to pull them back out like this. So they drill like a lever type thing to the top of the cave where they can put a rope through, so they can like pull them out.
That is.
But it kept breaking. So they sent in.
How long did it take?
They sent in
before
like
they
a
got him
dozen
out?
rescuers. Well, first off, this is terrible because you're putting the
I was
rescuers'
just gonna say
lives
that.
at risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if somebody's willing to go into a cave like that to save you, that's just mind blowing to me. But they kept trying to pull him out. They would like find different ways to do it and all this kind
I
of stuff.
couldn't even watch that.
No.
Dude,
But
they would have
what
to get
happened
like
is-
a big drill and start drilling away at the rock.
He was in there. It was like 12 hours past
And then
or
it could
something.
collapse.
And he started getting delirious because he was upside down, so the blood's rushing to your head.
My
So he'd
God.
like pass out and hallucinate and all this kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
And then I think after like a whole day of being upside down in the cave, they had to like give him water through a tube.
Oh
Like,
my
like,
God.
give him a
And what
tube.
about going to the bathroom?
Wait, was
He
he
just had to pee
Was he
himself.
filming
Pee on
this?
your head. I don't think he filmed
So
it.
he's
A lot
just
of people do film.
upside down for 12 hours by himself doing nothing.
And
Yeah,
that's
well,
joyful.
people would come in and out to try to
So
help
like,
him, to
what
try to save him.
happened to this man to make him want to do some whack shit like this?
Well, that's the question. Well, this guy, I think he died eventually.
really?
Yeah, they couldn't get him out. He got stuck.
So what, did they just leave him down there and consider him
yeah,
buried?
You just
What?
That is so
That's
sickening.
sick.
Yeah, but I think you have to be
Was he
some
that
kind of
far
like
in?
weird. You have to.
What?
Yeah, I mean, he did
He
it
was
to
that
himself.
far in it.
Oh.
He was that far. What?
He was that far in the cave.
That's
Yeah.
so.
He was
Horrible.
he was
Yeah,
he was
it's
looking for
sometimes really
something.
far.
He was clearly looking for
He's
something.
getting for gold.
It reminds me of the scenario where the rich guy got like a submarine. Remember that story? And he like went
Yes.
underwater
And it
like
imploded.
imploded. It's almost as if they're trying to die but not like kill themselves firsthand.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Brandon,
It's such a
Did
weird
you
thing.
watch the movie Heretic?
Yeah. Well, no. I don't remember.
With,
not Hereditary.
No, not Hereditary.
Hereditary. Oh no, I haven't. I saw that. I saw that though.
What?
The fact that he thought you said hereditary.
No, that was the only other
What?
word that popped in my head. I'm like, that's a
What
similar
is
word.
Claudia
Like,
laughing at?
I'm laughing because you said, did you watch Heretic? And he said, oh, no,
because I was thinking about Hereditary, and I was like, oh, no, that was Hereditary. I was just thinking out loud.
So real quick, this is because your story reminded me of this. Not quite this.
Oh, I have one more.
Wait. She gave me some clothes because she's cleaning her closet out. Do you remember the white fuzzy jacket? And you said, oh, that looks like you.
Oh, to get stuck on you?
Oh, yeah. And I almost had to cut it off. And Dakota wasn't home. I put this thing on it. And as I'm putting it over my head, I'm thinking, this thing doesn't stretch a lot.
Mom, literally,
I probably shouldn't go the whole way.
Mom, I think you have ADHD.
What would happen to you
I put
if
it
Dakota
on.
wasn't there? Like, because every time you get into a scenario, you're like, Dakota wasn't home, or thank God Dakota was
It
home.
would be me. I would be the
literally
next one up.
almost took scissors to it and cut the thing
The cave
apart.
story that I just told made you
because
think
it made me
about
feel
that.
claustrophobic.
Wait,
And I
that was making me
panicking
think about
in this jacket. I felt like it was a straight jacket.
Do you remember at Port Discovery, the drain?
Oh, yeah.
It was basically like a pitch black drain.
Port Discovery is like a
tunnel.
little science center for
It's like a science center for kids to go to downtown Baltimore. It's still there. You can still go.
That doesn't
but
sound like
they closed
something
the
good for
drain.
kids.
But the drain was basically you go in this like mystery
They closed that
scenario.
down, I think, by the way.
Huh?
Oh, really?
I think they closed the drain down.
Yeah, they closed the
I wonder
drain.
why.
But basically, it's like you go in the toilet drain, which is basically like a little tunnel that kids could crawl in, and you come out in the bathtub, like in another room.
You climb
So like
up.
you
What was
crawl
the
in
point
and
of
then you
it? To
climb
show how
up.
pipes like connect?
Yeah.
I guess so, but there was like so many kids would pile in it at once, and
Why did
then they
not
would stop
put-
crawling.
The thing is, like, why did they not put lights in there? Why did it need to be
I don't
pitch
know.
black? Because I remember
Stop.
I think it was supposed to be like a
Traffic
sensory
jam.
thing. Like remember the
terrible.
inside of it was coated in like a turf. Do you
I
remember feeling that
being
on your
like
knees?
Velcro.
It was like turf feeling,
Yeah,
like green
I remember
turf
that. But
at
I
the
remember I
gym.
would crawl in halfway and start crying and then come out.
Well, I would crawl in and I would start getting freaked out and claustrophobic because it was pitch black and like these kids in front of me wouldn't be moving and I'd be screaming like, go!
You'd be touching some smelly kid in front of you.
Yeah,
really
I hated
a big
it.
thing to
it was
have.
a very claustrophobic thing because it was like in reality it was such a short little crawl space. Like you're
But
not
to a
going to
little
get
kid,
stuck
it
in
doesn't
it.
feel
Yeah.
like it.
It feels infinite.
Like as long as everyone keeps moving,
Right.
you're going to get out.
I'm
an
surprised
adult
they
can
let a
fit
bunch
in.
of kids in at once.
Well,
Not
now
just
that
like
Guy crawling through the cave when he got to that opening, he was like, well, I'm going to die here. Like, what was going through his... And how do you know that he was hallucinating if he
Panic.
died?
Because they could probably hear him, right?
The rescuers saw him.
They
like,
could see
passing
it?
out. Well, they could like talk to
So
him.
at what
Why didn't they
point-
get
So it's
like
like
a bunch
it's like,
of...
hey buddy, how are you doing down there?
this
And
was a
goes,
show?
Why did
he's
they
probably
chip
not
away
good."
at that
Brandon,
rock?
we're
Were they
podcast.
like, all right,
It was on
we're
TikTok
leaving
that
him?
she was watching. It's like a story TikTok. Huh?
At what point were they like, all right, we're leaving him? We can't get him.
probably when he died.
Probably when he died. Yeah.
And they probably would keep going until
But
he died.
they wouldn't like chip away the rock to like recover his body.
Claudia, you don't understand. You need to look up the videos. They will
Yeah.
make you feel very.
I'm
anxious.
gonna
can't
look
even.
them up after this.
Yeah, you're like
of course
this.
you are.
But
I
how
could
could a
not do
human
that.
skull even fit in that?
It's not
Right.
that okay. It's tight enough where it's bigger than your skull, but like okay, imagine my shoulders. So I'd have to like go like maybe like this to get in, but it's still wider
I
than
would
my
be
skull.
great at this. I can
Well, Kenny
slither
would
my
be
way
really
through
good.
anything.
I wouldn't.
Kenny
I
would-
alien skull.
The skinnier you are, the better.
No,
No, listen to this.
This
But
is a
there's another
serious
one. This is
thing.
worse.
Oh,
this
why are
is
you
a
telling
serious
these
thing
stories?
first. So, my skull, like I don't know
It's
if
big.
everyone's skull is like this.
Claudia had
But
a big head. She's always had a big head.
The back of my skull, like I was feeling Jesse's, and his doesn't do that. Mine like bulges out like how like an alien's does, and then it like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Will.
He's got
Claudia.
a big brain.
Yeah, but so my skull, it's like you know how in Alien versus Predator, like the
Yeah.
back of their heads, like it sticks out far. Like the back of mine is very round and sticks out, like it almost
That's
makes
just
like
the way
a
your skull
curve.
shape is.
Yeah.
Yes, but like Jesse's is like flat.
I mean, yeah, everyone has a
Mine's
different
pretty
shape.
flat. too.
Claudia always had a very big head.
Yours is not as big as bad as mine. Mine's like very like if
She
I was
always had a
bald,
very, very
it
big
would
head.
Well,
be so.
have you ever
ugly.
got an MRI? The question
baby.
is it mostly skull, empty
just
space,
spit
or
on
more
my
brain?
What?
Do you think it's mostly skull,
Definitely
empty
not
space, or more brain?
Just kidding.
It's definitely brain.
It's more brain, and that more brain is what causes her OCD.
It's like a bunch of like dead brain that causes anxiety. Part of my twin stuck to my head.
What?
I I don't know.
It's weird because I remember like looking at her thinking like this child's got like a really big head compared to her body. I remember thinking oh, I guess she'll grow into her head.
Well,
No,
she did
and-
grow into it, but your head was big.
And when
you were
I'm
a
in
kid.
like a bar class and they, like for sit-ups or like crunches, you're like holding your head up. My neck gets in so much pain because my head is too heavy for me to hold up. Like I have to hold it with my hands when we're doing things like that. I'm so serious. Everyone else doesn't struggle, and I'm like, my neck is in like excruciating pain because my
Whenever
head's too heavy.
someone tells a story
weak
like
neck.
this, I imagine like an extremely dramatized version of it. So I'm imagining Claudia with like a giant head that she can't lift up, and everyone in the class just looking at
That's how it feels.
Well, it could be the case she has a head of like a 400-pound man on a small woman's body.
No,
It's possible.
a lot of big men have tiny little pea heads.
That
What
is
if
true.
my
No,
skull,
that's what I'm saying. Like
maybe my skull is really thick.
maybe your actual skull is sitting on a 400-pound guy.
That's just
What
scared
the
the
hell?
shit out of me.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
Why is it doing that?
That thing
It's
sucks.
cleaning.
It always does that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sucks.
That's scary.
No, it doesn't
It's on
suck.
fire.
It doesn't
It's
suck. It's a great
self-cleaning.
machine, but
Oh.
but it randomly makes this like super loud
Yeah.
hissing noise. That's terrifying.
I remember Dakota and I were here once when we were house sitting and we were playing the game that went on. And Dakota literally shot off the sofa, and she's looking around like, "What that?"
It blows steam out to like self clean itself after using it from like this
Okay,
morning.
well, listen to this. There's another type of cave. I don't know what it's called. Cave crawling.
Cave diving?
I'm very
cave
interested
squeezing,
in this. I
cave
think this is what I'm gonna watch
cave
tonight.
diving. So there's another one where a lot of these caves will be like in water. What are you laughing at?
She spilled her drink all
Just
over
shot up
herself.
my face.
A lot of these caves will
Down my
be
shirt.
underwater. And when the water level drops, people will go in the cave to explore
Oh
it.
no, I don't
Oh
like
my
Okay,
that.
fuck that.
Some people will get stuck
Oh,
in the cave
no,
or not calculate the time correctly to get back in time.
Dude,
and the water level will start rising.
Forget that. Nope.
So they get stuck in the cave while the water level's rising. And they'll try to like either swim back or something, but it's like dark as
Oh my god, what is wrong with people?
I don't know.
Dude, the risk
So they
of
get
trying
stuck.
to swim back.
Well,
I would
have
just
a
try to climb
question.
up. Can't you climb up?
Are all of these people you've seen doing it white?
Yeah.
There you go.
There might be a correlation.
No. I have a theory that white people do this specifically dangerous stuff. I'm not going to get into it, but anytime I hear some shit like this, I'm like, that's a white person. You just know.
Well, it's also, have you seen free soloing? The guys who climb
Yes.
the side of mountains without ropes?
Yes.
That's
It's like they're
another crazy
asking to
thing.
die.
People have fallen off. There's videos of people falling off the
These
cliff. Just-
people are okay with death. I just don't think it scares
Right.
them.
The other thing is the people who do the backflips on like cranes and the edges of buildings, and then they slip
Yeah.
off and fall. I think Nick was telling me or something that he was telling us that he's seen videos of people like slipping and falling off of the cranes. Like they'll do like a backflip to impress their girlfriend or something, and then like miss land and just fall off the crane.
Wait,
And
it's
there's
called,
videos
it's
of
called
it.
cave
So
diving or cave crawling.
Cave diving, but like search like cave diving squeezes. Because they have to squeeze through the holes. Because there's cave dive. There's different
bizarre.
levels of cave diving.
Cave diving tight squeeze.
Yeah,
What
tight,
has to
my
yeah,
happen
God,
the
to
tight
you to make
squeeze.
you want to go do that? Like, I don't know anyone who would willingly go do that.
Oh my
What
god,
if,
this
what
actually.
if they're trying to symbolically climb back into the womb?
Brandon, I was
Or
just
what
going
if
to
they're
say that.
looking- They don't
Dude,
believe
this
in
looks
any
like my
religion.
actual
You just
worst
said it better.
nightmare.
They're looking
What?
for their own religion.
Show the camera.
I can't.
This looks like my worst nightmare.
I can't.
Legit, like
I can't.
I can. It's probably the people who are like into like rock climbing and bouldering and things like that. Like I feel like they just like that
I feel like it's different.
Adrenaline rush from
I think
trying to
it's
get-
different. I
Brandon-
think these
I don't
are
know.
two different kinds of people.
I would have a heart attack.
I really want
before
you
I
and
even,
Kate
like,
to watch the movie Heretic and tell me what you think. I literally always tell you to watch things you
We'll
never
watch
do,
it.
and you never tell me what you think.
Yeah, because I forget. You gotta
Okay,
remind
so
me.
one day I'm gonna stop telling you to watch things. You're gonna be like, oh, I miss when Kennedy
No,
used
just
to tell
text
to
me and
watch
say watch Heretic. Because if you tell me on this podcast, I'll probably forget in an hour.
things. Okay.
There we go.
Text
That's
it
all
to him.
takes.
Thanks
Probably
for
go.
watching.
Thanks for watching, guys. We love you. Don't go cave diving. If you do, make sure.
Just don't go cave diving. Go to
No.
therapy and start taking
Make sure
some
you lube
pills
yourself
to,
up.
to mute all the things you're feeling.
I'm gonna go cave diving in my backyard. I'm gonna dig holes
We don't have any caves here.
and crawl into
Not like
them.
that.
I'm gonna
Actually,
build
we
one.
might. How about we take a family cave diving trip?
No.
For my
Thanks.
first vlog back
The only
to YouTube.
caves that
No,
I'm
we
going
went to
in
caves.
is in Zelda.
The only
Remember
caves
when we
I'm
went-
going in is my finger in my nose.
The only caves I'm going in.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.